guys, welcome to another episode of the weekly CX Catch Up where we deliver late news with the latest insight. And for our first story, Vinay, today we have Seth Hyken, who's a customer experience expert, sitting down and having a conversation with Sampath, the CEO of the Verizon Consumer Group. And in his article, he outlined the conversation, and it a very interesting thing to note is that he asked the CEO of the Verizon Consumer Group, why do you have your email out for the public or your consumers to reach out? And his answer was, I am in the retail business. I am in the consumer business. I'm a CEO of a consumer group. So I want my customers to readily reach out to me, like directly. Now, what do you think about that?
So Harshini, in most cases, CEOs and other C-suite people do not disclose their email addresses publicly because they don't want to be spammed by mails of all types, right? And in this case, it's commendable that Sampath has disclosed this email ID because it is one way for him to talk to his customers directly. So all CEOs are going to get a picture about how their business is doing from people who report to them. But that picture that they get need not always be true and accurate. So this is one way that the CEO has actually bridged the distance between the management and the end customers. And I'm sure the kind of feedback and the stories they get to hear will be a lot more rooted in truth than in embellishment, right? We have a similar example from the CEO of Zomato, who once in a while does field work as an undercover delivery agent, and by doing so he gets a clear picture about the challenges that delivery agents face and also the kind of issues that customers face, right? So I think this is a very good way to keep in touch with customers and know what exactly the customers want and how the businesses can deliver it to them.
And one line that I would like to highlight from that article is no matter how big your organization is, it's never too late to start small and locally when it comes to your customer experience and all of that. And also it's very nice because it's a top-down approach. You're modeling how exactly you want your business and organization to talk to your consumers, which is directly and honestly and transparently, which will trickle down to the various segments that you have set within your organization. So yes, it's a very good example.
Absolutely, Harshina, and we have we know that even people in prestigious positions like the presidents of certain countries, they reply to every single letter that they get. So I don't think there's anything that's stopping CEOs and other C-suite members to do the same, right? And next we have an interesting story from a popular F&B chain that is known all over the world, McD. So recently in one of the outlets, there was a very unreasonable customer who just kept modifying his order repeatedly, and this didn't go well with the staff and the supervisor. She didn't hold back. She just said, nothing doing, we're not going to serve you anymore, because he was basically making life difficult for the service staff and also hampering the experience of other customers. I think this video that has gone viral is a great example of employee empowerment.
Very true. I think we can all agree that it's already quite hard being a frontline service workers, you having to deal with different types of personality on a day-to-day basis. And when you talk about employee empowerment, I think organizations who employ, service line workers should not just stop with insurance and health benefits and other perks, but also should provide them with an opportunity to say no to rude customers. Because when you start serving to everyone, you serve to no one. So you should draw a line on what types of customers your businesses and your employees should engage with.
Absolutely. And businesses are generally taught that the customer is the king, but that need not be the case always, right? So when one interesting thing in this case is that this is a rare event where the internet community has been unanimous in its praise for the manager. They just felt that they might be customers themselves, but they felt that this particular customer was being extremely unreasonable, and they think that the manager did the right thing. And for the last story of today, we have a recent update from a brand that has generally not rolled back any of its features. So we are talking about Apple, and a few weeks ago it came up with a new visual design called liquid glass, wherein the elements were all transparent, and as soon as this beta launch was done, the developer community and everyone else who is using the feature, they didn't really like it, and they were not, they didn't hold back the words. They just went full throttle with their criticism of the feature. And Apple has now, in the beta 3 version of its iOS 26, it has scaled down the level of transparency it has shown in the element. And I think this is a good example of listening to your feedback and listening to customer feedback and acting upon it.
As a huge Jobs Apple fan of the brand, I think the wave of disappointment that we are seeing with the community is not just about the rollback from the particular said feature of a liquid glass now being rebranded as the frosted glass, but it's also about, as the brand, how they are putting out more aestheticism-oriented features that does not solve any function. So I think this is a little bit of a letdown from the brand side and not exactly on the feature side, at least in my opinion.
And so it doesn't matter even if you're like the most valuable company on earth.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to your customers and give them exactly what they need.
Yeah. I think that brings us to the last segment of our weekly CX catch up, where we talk about ad of the week. And for this week, we all have our favorite moments from the Olympics, but do we really remember the unsung heroes who are the torchbearers? So Coca-Cola partnered with Ogilvy Paris to put out this ad campaign featuring these heroes, and we will have them linked in the description below. Until next time.